My brain is not working. I don't know who I am. I don't know how to do this. What am I doing here? Like, it was just so weird. I've never experienced anything like that. This is not how I planned to record this video, but here we are. I'm learning more and more. Wow, parenthood is really about being flexible. It's always unpredictable with your kids, especially if they're a baby and they can't communicate and they are just crying and fussing and their sleep patterns, eating patterns keep changing because they're developing. So here we are. I have an adorable distraction for you all. Wow, I have so many things that I'm just like dying to record and to share, and it sucks because I just have such limited time. Everything is just like so in flux still. I'm understanding more and more why it makes sense no one talks about this. It's so hard to when you're in the thick of it, but I just have this passion. I don't know why. I really feel like God just gave me this passion and this grace to just openly share about this without any shame. I'm just like, guys, I am struggling. Yeah, I just want to like put it out there, what I've been going through and what I've been processing, just to give a glimpse to anyone else who is going to be a parent for the first time as well, or is going through it, just to know that you're not alone, that we're in this struggle together. And already I've been so encouraged by comments from people saying that they can relate in so many ways, because it is really isolating when no one talks about these things. It's so romanticized, you know, motherhood and like newborn cuddles, like soaking it all in, and those things are true. But when you're in a place, like, it's different for everyone, but for many first-time moms, you are just so shocked and so honestly traumatized that it is hard to actually enjoy and actually be present enough, because you are just in survival mode. And I feel like it hasn't been until literally like this past week, or maybe the past 2 weeks, and definitely now like in week 10, that I'm actually now finally able to like enjoy more this phase and be like, oh my gosh, you are so stinking adorable and I can't believe you're my daughter. And just like really taking it in more, because now I feel like I'm no longer drowning. My head and my neck are above water, and yeah, I'm just learning to swim basically on the deep end. I got thrown into the deep end of the ocean and no one prepared me for it, and I have no idea how to swim. Like, that's how it felt. And now through that trial, I'm finally learning to tread water a bit. And you know, it's still tiring. It's still like, am I doing this right? Like, no one taught me and I'm still learning as I go, but you know, it's much better than it was the first month. I just really have this heart to like encourage a first-time mom, because I've been talking to other first-time moms that I've met, that I made friends with before having a baby. I think everyone is just shocked. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh. It's sad because when you're in the thick of it, like, everyone else will tell you like, oh, it gets better, and like, oh, you're just learning, and both you and baby are adjusting, just take it like step by step, have grace for yourself, you know, all these things. It makes sense, like, from hindsight. Like, now I see what those things really mean and how true they are. But when you are in the middle of it, it is so hard to actually fathom. Because just imagine, like, for me, right, like, our baby had really bad reflux, like basically the whole month and a half, and we hadn't resolved it. We had no idea what was going on. So just imagine you're a first-time parent, you have no idea how to take care of a baby. Your baby is nonstop screaming. Every time they're awake, they're just crying and screaming in pain, and you're trying all the things, you have no idea what you're doing, and it's like overwhelming. Plus you have hormones that are crazy. You feel like a crazy person because you're not sleeping, you're not eating well because of that, on top of everything else. So it's just like, it's crazy, guys. Like, I don't know, like, moms are something else. Like, after giving birth and going through all that, like, oh my gosh, it changes the way I see other moms. I'm like, how did you do this multiple times? Now coming, like, slowly coming out of it on the other side, I can see how your brain kind of biologically, similar to giving birth, you just kind of forget a lot of it. And I think it does that so that you're not dreading giving birth again and dreading having more children. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have more kids and our world would not have anybody in it. So my real encouragement, that from what I experienced when I was going through the thick of the hardest moments and just feeling like so crazy, feeling so isolated, alone, even though moms are reaching out to me and talking to me, encouraging me, your brain just really plays games with you when your mental health declines because of all of those factors. Plus, I have talked about postpartum depression depression, anxiety, baby blues, like all of it, it really makes you think things that you never would have thought. If you are a first-time mom and you are like questioning your life, we all do that. like, oh my gosh, what did I just do to my life? Did I make a huge mistake? You know, I miss my pre-baby life. I miss having freedom. I have no idea what I'm doing. Who told me I could do this? Like, you just have all these thoughts and it's like so unexpected. And no one talks about it because it's like stigmatized. You feel like, oh, I should be grateful I have a baby, especially if you know, you went through IVF or you tried for many years and you just feel this guilt of like, I don't want to complain about how hard it is, but then that actually makes it even harder because you're stuffing down how you're actually feeling. And so I'm grateful. I don't know why, again, like I didn't do it perfectly, of course. I struggled a lot just even knowing how I felt because it was like an out-of-body experience. I remember being so disconnected from myself like I've never felt before and telling my husband, I am lost. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, my brain is not working. I don't know who I am. I don't know how to do this. I'm just so... I don't know. What am I doing here? Like, it was just so weird. I've never experienced anything like that. I just want to normalize having those like intrusive thoughts, having thoughts of like, I need to be thankful and be happy and post these happy photos. Like, don't feel that pressure because the reality is not what you see on social media. Like, social media is a place where most people, including myself, self-admittedly, like, we want to post our favorite highlights. We want to like remember and recall the moments that make us smile, that make us happy. And it's kind of like you wouldn't put up photos of yourself crying on your wall, like in your living room. You would put up photos of your family looking happy because those are what make you smile and keep you going as well. It's not even a transition. I feel like the word transition is too soft for this thing. It's like becoming a mom for the first time. It is a shock. It is a shock to the system. Your body is shocked. Your mind and emotions are shocked. Like, everything, your relationships, like your marriage totally shifts as well because both of you are like so sleep deprived and so just trying to survive. Like, there's no time to be like, oh, let's like ease into, like, no, it is a big shock. And so it really changes you. It's kind of like the double meaning of the word haze, right? Like, it is a haze because it's all a blur, but it's also like it reminds me of like in college, you know, sororities and fraternities, how you get hazed oftentimes and it's not pretty. It's not, you know, I think a lot of times it's like illegal now, I think, but basically I remember hearing about my friends in the Greek system going through hazing and I'm like, that sounds terrible. Like, I would not want to do that. But I guess it gives you this feeling of like inclusion after you get through it, of like, oh my gosh, I toughed that out. Like, I made it. Like, I belong here now. And ironically, I feel like that way a bit through the newborn haze. And now, you know, people say it's like the mom club. And so anyway, I just want to encourage, sorry, I'm getting off topic. My ADHD has definitely gotten worse after giving birth. Yeah, all that to say is I just want to encourage like new moms, like, oh my gosh, you are going through the hazing. You are going through the hardest part. You're learning something brand new. Your baby is also learning to exist in the world. Like, it's just a total shock to everybody. So of course you would feel so confused and so out of it. You are not alone in feeling that way at all. And if it gives you any encouragement, like, I am the week 10 right now, I can actually do things like this more and laugh and smile and not feel so like bogged down and miserable all the time like I did those first few weeks. Oh gosh, it was craziness. It was I can't emphasize that enough. I will end this video with just 2 pieces of advice I was giving to one of my friends who's going through the trenches right now. I think they're 4 weeks in and I can just tell like she is going through the hardest part, the thick of it, and also has a baby with reflux. So I just wanted to pass on 2 pieces of advice that I gave her and just tips that I feel like really I would tell my past self. So number 1 is sleep. I think it was tied to like my general anxiety overall and just like being so reliant on like information, you know, like I just want to research and like learn how to do all this so that I can escape these problems. But it's ironic because the more you're in this research rabbit hole, you are not sleeping, and that just creates this vicious cycle. Also, my husband and I, like, I don't know, we just didn't really take sleep shifts very seriously because both of us are just used to sleeping later, like 11 p.m. ish, and it's hard for me. Like my whole life, I've mostly been a night owl, so it was really hard for me to be like conceptualizing like how am I gonna sleep as early as like 9 p.m. Like that just is not gonna work. But lo and behold, like this is the only way really. You need this to survive. You need to do sleep shifts. My OBGYN told me humans need at least 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep to function well. Without that, you literally like lose your functioning, and I experienced that firsthand. So I would say do everything you can to prioritize sleep, even if you think, oh yeah, people say that but I can't really do it. I would do it. And I know how hard that is because you want to, you know, get up and tidy everything. You want to, you feel like there's so much to do, and like the baby needs you, and is there something missing, and you just have all these things preventing you from sleeping. But looking back, for my future kids, I'm definitely gonna prioritize sleeping at least 4 hours uninterrupted in the night so that I can actually function and not feel like a crazy person. Number 2 is I would definitely seek out help. And again, I know that sounds like a lot, especially because you're like, what do I even need help with? I don't even know. Even just having someone present, like someone else, like their body just physically being in the room with you, I found that to be a huge help because it's like so therapeutic to be like, there's a person here. I'm not alone. They accept me for who I am enough to be here in my mess. And I honestly like some friends came and visited, and even though in those first few weeks I didn't know exactly like what I needed help with all the time, just them being there was a huge, it just made me feel so loved and so supported and not alone in it. It just did wonders for my mental health. That's underrated. I think asking people to come over or asking, you know, if people want to visit, like not being afraid to be like, yes, but can you also do the dishes, or do you mind doing folding this laundry with me while we catch up, you know, just like trying to multitask with people and realizing the importance of social connections. Because I have Alex, my husband, will attest. He's like, I have never seen you so interconnected, because I'm just like texting like people like crazy and like connecting people, because I don't know, there's just something in me in this season that's like, I need people to stay sane. I need my friends. I need to lean on community. I can't just coop up and rely on myself. I am not going to make it if I do it that way. Reach out, or if just people like offer to help. And I know that sounds hard because, you know, if you're in a situation where you don't have that, it is really, really difficult. But that's why I'm making this video, is because I just want to let people know like you're not alone. So even if you don't have somebody physically there with you in your living room or in your bedroom saying like, oh, like how are you doing, like checking in on you, I just hope that this video can kind of be a mini form of that, of being like, hey, you are fighting to stay alive. You are fighting for your baby to be well taken care of. And I know you feel like you're not doing it well. You feel like you have no idea what you're doing, and you just are so lost and confused and wonder, is this how it's going to be forever? It is not going to be like this forever. Your baby is going to adjust. You're going to adjust. It just takes time. It takes every single day going through the hard challenges, just taking it step by step, honestly. This video was not as cohesive as I hoped, but I really, really hope it speaks to someone who might be going through this and just wondering like, when will this ever end? Will this ever get better? Because I'm dying. I want out. I had many moments where I was like, I just want to give up. Like, I don't know if I can keep going. Keep going, keep fighting. It does truly get better. You just really need to push through and believe. Just hang on to that hope. Thankful for technology. That's also been what really helped me, was reaching out to people on online communities, like different Facebook groups, just seeing like, oh, I'm not alone. This is actually normal. I just never knew. Make sure to follow along, subscribe, and like, and I will see you in the next video as we continue this first time motherhood unfiltered journey together.